It's Bourbon Night. Hello, I'm Chad.
I'm Sarah.
Happy Bourbon Heritage Month.
I thought you were just about to say Happy Blanton's uncorking.
Happy Blanton's uncorking. Well, now the cat's out of the bag. We have a
it's right here.
Uniquely shaped bottle, and you also saw the thumbnail. But Sarah, what is it?
It's Blanton's.
It's Blanton's.
Blanton's Single Barrel.
Blanton's Single Barrel. The ship that launched 1,000 single barrels. I don't know how to finish that.
The single barrel that broke a million hearts. I don't know. I mean, maybe though. This is, wow, that just couldn't get off there fast enough.
It says right here, you should wear eye protection when you're taking it off. No, but happy 1st of September, which is Bourbon Heritage Month.
Woo.
If you're watching this on the day that it was uploaded. If not, happy.
You missed Bourbon Heritage Month.
Happy.
You're not.
Happy day. Pause for cork pop.
Lovely.
Okay.
So we could tell you. I would interrupt, Chad. No, we could tell you a bunch about Blanton's, but instead of us repeating it now, all, willy-nilly, why don't you go watch 5 Things You Didn't Know About Blanton's video?
5 Things You Didn't Know About Blanton's video, right up, annotated right up here.
Yeah.
It's also down in the episode notes.
Yeah, so we don't need to give you too much info about it, because you can just go watch that when you're done with this.
I mean, the important things are, it's a 93 proof, single barrel mash bill number 2 from Buffalo Trace.
And now this is unique though, because these are only stored where?
Warehouse H.
That's right.
Used to be the only metal warehouse on Buffalo Trace's facility.
But what's happening now?
They're building a bunch more warehouses, and guess what? They're all metal.
Ooh, what does that tell us?
Well,
we don't know. We really don't know.
You remember I asked Harlan Wheatley, Master Distiller at Buffalo Trace, back when you could actually be around people at an event.
I think it was the Bourbon Women's Symposium last year.
You are correct. You are correct. I asked him, does that mean more Blantons? And he gave the, I'm going to talk around, what do you expect?
Press release approved version. Yeah.
Right. But this is one of their best sellers. They have 50 million expressions of this. So, of course, they're going to, and they're still trying to, and give them time, because they still have more warehouses to build. There's something like $25 million a warehouse.
So
and then you got to age the product. This is, between a 6 and 8 year product. Typically, it's to taste though, not to age state.
And that's what we saw with the Elmer too, which is also a single barrel from Buffalo Trace.
Now we have officially uncorked the 4 mash bill number 2 single barrels.
Whoa.
So now we can do a flight fight.
Now
How about
we can do a flight fight. It reminds me of a little bit of how I felt about Elmer. What do you think? You were gonna say that, huh?
You just took it right out of the mouth. Yeah. No, yeah, not dissimilar.
Right, I could see how they could be related, but without as much earthiness.
But that same fruit, that same berry type of nose.
Lightly dusted sugar berries.
But maybe,
I think that's what we said about Elmer too, I think.
Yeah, but this one may be a little bit more honey. There's a little bit some richer honey in it.
Nice, bright, easygoing sweetness.
Huh. All right. There we go.
That was my first sip.
What, of the day?
Yeah,
okay,
actually.
Okay. I was like, obviously it was your first sip of this.
Well, I'm sorry, I was talking to myself a little bit of oh, maybe don't go there yet, because it's just your first sip still.
Sir. Sir?
Sir.
Sir?
Sir?
You forget yourself.
Sir.
I meant to say sure, and I called you a sir.
It's okay. It's an interesting day for us. Hey, though, how fitting is it that we're uncorking this this week, because Derby's on? Well, the formerly postponed Derby is on Saturday.
Correct. Normally that would not be a thing. Normally it's in May, but...
It would have been way back.
2020 is
around your birthday.
Yeah, is 2020.
We don't have to tell you about what is 2020.
I think you're up on it. Well, I will say this. I went back for my second sip the same time that you did. Normally, you're on it quicker, because I'm still trying to, see how long the finish goes. So that tells me it's not a super long finish.
It's not. I was gonna say, it's funny. I was just reading something the other day that Caroline from Justin Toss of Bourbon and the Bourbon Review,
Caroline.
right? She was saying something about how it was an article about how people don't like it when you use the word smooth, or don't like to use that as a descriptor for bourbon, or aren't looking for that. Like, what does that mean? Smooth.
That's so funny you bring that up, Sarah, because I've been thinking about that. Like, when I don't want to say the more non-initiated bourbon drinkers, but it seems like when you're first getting into bourbon, and I've seen this with some friends who are slowly starting to become bourbon drinkers, you're like, smooth. And that's about all that
well, everybody's got to start somewhere, but I think, and the thing that I loved about this article, and it all comes back to this, is that, like, what does smooth mean? The absence of bite, the absence of character, the absence of finish. I don't know. Is it the mouthfeel? Are you trying to describe the texture? What is it? And, like, we're at a point where I don't want smooth now.
Right.
I mean, I don't want harshness, but that's not, I want a finish. I want that character. I want a little kick. That's what I want.
I want it to be, approachable.
Right.
But I want it to be nuanced and a little complex, yet approachable, that sort of balancing act. I want it to have a personality. I want it to kind of jut out on the flavor wheel. I don't want it just to be completely the same all around. So I hear what you're saying. Like, if it's too smooth,
to me, it's like, what is that?
Why are we drinking it?
Because, like you said, I'm looking for that personality. Now here, I think someone would I think a lot of people who get into bourbon find Blanton's very appealing early on, and maybe it's because of the proof or the fun bottle shape, or it's just well known as being something solid. I would describe this as smooth, or I think someone would describe this as smooth, because it does have a silky texture.
Sure.
It does have a really, not an aggressive finish, and I think it's very laid back and easygoing. And again, the proof is contributing to that, but it just kind of rides real mellow, I think, throughout the palate, and so I think someone would describe this as smooth. I would use those other words that I just said.
Right.
Like you said, shorter finish, really approachable, mellow, easy to sip. Again, like with the Elmer, I could just keep...
Right. Not too much of the burn, but I do like how after 2 or 3 sips, you can feel a little bit of the proof, and you are getting some of the barrel characteristics, the oak and the char, and the normal things that are in there. But yeah, much like that Elmer T. Lee, this is a sipper. You're gonna find your glass empty before you know it.
Yeah.
And have to go back for some more.
Now on that third sip, it did hang around longer on my tongue, and it gave me a little more personality. And I do find, like, the more I sip it, I am getting those honey notes that you talked about, but also dark berry, even maybe just a tiny hint of grape. I wouldn't say it's extra complex or anything. The flavors that are there are nice.
Yeah.
They're pretty chill.
Of course, this being their higher rye mash bill, 12 to 15% is the kind of the guess, which is sort of low rye for other distilleries, but I'm getting some of that spice on there, sort of like almost kind of like a tobacco sort of note with this a spice, almost like a menthol kind of combo of those two things, you know?
I was gonna say like a really faint clove. I think it's there, but it's definitely not the number even 2 or 3 flavor that I'm picking up. It's just kind of...
Well, definitely not on the palate.
On the finish.
I think it's more on the finish, yeah.
That it's just coming through. But I kind of agree with you. It's not, I wouldn't describe it as smoky, but I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah. Well, what we'll do here is the last little bit we have in our glass, we'll let it sit and open up for about 10 minutes. So while we wait, we want to tell you about whiskyambitions.com. It's our home on the internet for things such as the t-shirt like I'm wearing, the Glencairns that we're drinking from, the water glasses that we're drinking from. We also have rocks glasses, challenge coins, new t-shirts now that it's Bourbon Heritage Month, that's right. And more always coming soon. That's whiskyambitions.com.
You can become a patron at patreon.com/itsbourbonnight and join our community for as little as $1 a month. We do after the episode exclusives. It's called Another Round with Chad and Sarah, where we go even deeper into what we're thinking. Yeah. Sometimes we throw podcasts out there. Sometimes we throw polls out about what episodes you guys want to see. So yeah, go sign up.
Okay, we're gonna let it sit here for about another 9 minutes. We'll be back after this. And we're back.
Here we are.
See what this time has done.
Yeah, still like sugary, honey.
I am getting more of that honey note is really starting to become more forward.
I'm getting a little more char on the finish than I was before. It's less of that even smooth ride the whole way through, like I said at the beginning. But I stand by my original thoughts.
I'm liking how when you let the finish kind of settle in, it's sort of, and again I think this is the right content, sort of like a red hot. Kind of dancing on the front of the tongue. That kind of builds up, which is pretty neat. It's kind of showing that it's definitely not an 80 proofer.
Right.
It is 93, showing its personality. So yeah, you know, it's good. Now availability is hard. It didn't used to be.
No.
Used to be around here in Kentucky.
I remember going into
you
Rite
could
Aid.
go to a pharmacy, Rite Aid around here, and there it would be. That used to actually be kind of our little secret, like when the liquor stores didn't have it. Yeah, just go to a Rite Aid. They'll probably have it.
They have Weller, they have Blanton.
Right.
Not so anymore.
Not anymore. I still remember the first time I saw a Limit 1 on a Blanton's, and I was like, huh? And then it just went away.
I think I knew something was up the first time I saw some guy with like 5 boxes pulled down off the shelves in Rite Aid, looking through all the boxes for the different tops. Letter. And I was like, all right, something's going on here.
Yeah.
Something's about to blow up.
For sure.
And then it did. So, scarcity, we don't know what access you have, and price can be, it really just depends on where you get it. Now, this should be
around 60 bucks.
60. I've seen 55, but that's been a while.
We saw it for 90 at a little liquor store here in town the other day. We passed on it. So let's call it 60.
We'll call it 60.
Because there are some areas where I'm sure it's sitting on the shelf. You can go get it, hopefully for 60. This has always been one that I'm always fine with having, never one that I'm really like craving. I think a lot of it is this beautiful bottle.
And it is beautiful.
The BLANTONS on the horse here, the collectability, that type of thing.
Sure.
If we are talking 60 bucks, I give it a recommend.
Yeah, I think it's fair. I think a lot of people, it's a great, you know, step up price point, step up as far as your proof, your single barrel, you're getting something from Buffalo Trace that's, you know, on another level. So I could see how people coming into it would flock to this, and I get it, and it is good quality. So in that way, yes. For me, if I have $60 and I walk into the store, am I going to leave with a Blanton's if it is on the shelf for 60? I'm probably not. I'm probably gonna leave it. Personally, I'm gonna leave it for someone else. Because
well, it's sort of like this day and age, if you see it for 60, I would probably get it if I was out of one. If I did have one, I would go ahead and get it and then ask my friends who needs one, because one of them will need it and I'll just...
But I'm playing like me.
Sure. And I'm playing like me.
Right.
different
I would spend my $60 on something else, knowing that I've had Blanton's before. I'm fine with Blanton's.
Sure.
It's good. I think it does benefit from the hype around Buffalo Trace in general, which, you know, like I love Buffalo Trace Antique Collection also, but I think that this is, if it were more than $60, I would say no. But that's just me. It's good quality stuff. But it may be just a tiny bit overhyped.
No doubt. No doubt that it's overhyped. But still, don't let that take away that this is a solid bourbon. And if you see it for retail, we would recommend.
I am interested to see how it does in that flight fight, though, because I'm saying these things like I would leave it and stuff, and maybe that's not true. But I personally think I would pick Rock Hill Farms. The rarest of all of them.
And the highest proof. Big shocker.
Big shocker. That's my guess.
Well, that'll do it for us. Thanks for joining us. If you haven't subscribed to us already and like to do so, we'd love to have you. You can click right up here to do that. There's suggestions of other videos right down here. We hope to see you over there in those. Thanks, Sarah.
Thanks, Chad.
Okay, see y'all next time. Until then, drink more bourbon.